everyone.
Hey everyone, hope you had a happy holiday and a fantastic new year. If you enjoy my content, please subscribe and hit the notification bell. And I am here to review 3 cases for an iPhone 14 Pro Max. These are 3 waterproof or extreme proof, depending on which way you want to look at it. I've had my iPhone 14 Pro Max since the day it came out, which was back in September, and the Ghostek came out early on. They had their waterproof case since probably a week after the phone came out. It's a great case. When the phone sits in here, it actually sits nice and flush. And it actually does have a good watertight seal. My wife actually uses this particular case for her iPhone 13 Pro Max, and she's pretty happy with it. The only negatives with this particular case is that in it has this little film here and here, which they do include extra pieces that you can replace, but water tends to get into this, and then once water gets in, it's just really hard to prevent the water from getting in. So if you're going to be doing any like water type sports, I wouldn't really recommend this. But if you're doing like mountain biking, maybe some snowboarding or skiing, then you'll be okay as long as you wipe it off right away. But if you work in a hospital setting like myself and you tend to wash your phone on a constant basis, then it's probably not the best case for you. The other drawback with this particular case is that the sound quality is not the best when you're making a call. So if you do get this case, I would recommend maybe using like AirPods or like headphones so people can actually hear you really well. Though other than that, I love the case. It's a great case. The phone fits really well in it. It's MagSafe compatible. So when you put the phone in and then you have a MagSafe, it just like boom, just right away works really well. This is actually rated at 12 feet drop. So if you're like mountain biking and it falls out, you don't have to worry about the phone getting damaged. I have actually dropped my phone a few times with this case on, and nothing. Doesn't even look like the phone even received any type of damage. It's a great case, and the best part of it is that, with our Canadian friends, it's only $55, and our American friends, it's probably around $35 to $40 US. It's designed in Brooklyn, and it doesn't take long for them to ship. I bought it directly from Ghostek, and it's a great case. So the next one is the OtterBox FRE. The OtterBox comes with a nice little wiping cloth, but to be honest, it's a life-proof case. If you look at it, it is MagSafe compatible. Their style hasn't changed. It doesn't look any different from previous generations. It's identical from when I had my iPhone 4S. The one thing I don't like about the case, amongst other things, is the fact that when you put the phone inside the case, the screen does not sit against the screen protector at all. It feels like you're literally pushing into it, and you can hear it when you're pushing it down. And you have to push really hard. If you're texting, a lot of times you have to redo your text. So I wouldn't really recommend that, like this case at all because of that. Personally, for what you pay for it in Canada here, we're paying $110 for the case. In the US, I know it's $100. So it's a really hard pill to swallow when you're paying so much for a case and they haven't even changed it at all for the last like 10 years. So I personally just have a hard time recommending this case. And the Face ID does not work at all. My wife had it for her iPhone 13 Pro Max, and right out the gate, she complains like it doesn't recognize my face. It's unfortunate. I wanted to like the case. It's probably the worst case I've had for them. Another thing is that they do use an O-ring, which Ghostek doesn't. Ghostek uses a pressure fit where they use an O-ring. This O-ring's better than last year's. Last year's it would just pop out and you had a hard time just closing up the case. Other than that, the features that it does have, it has 2-meter rating. So if you go in water for an hour, I never had issues with water ever getting in a life-proof case, so I'm assuming that this case is going to be the same. It doesn't have a rating when it comes to drop, though they say that they're like 5 times the military standard, but they don't write anything down. You don't know what their rating is, so I'm kind of a little bit like, do I trust that or not? Now we're going to move on to the catalyst. I like the case. You put the phone in, there's tiny little bit of space between the screen and the screen protector, but so minute you don't really notice it. It's not like right against like the Ghostek, and the Face ID works really well. Every time I use it, it works every time. Once in a blue moon I'll have to punch it in, but I like the design. It's nice to grip. Haven't had any issues with water so far, but then again, I've only had the case for, you know, like a week or so. The cameras work really well, which was another thing that I had a problem with the other cases with the with the OtterBox. It tends to discolor, and then you just don't get the good quality video or pictures with the Ghostek, because water gets in there, it starts to fog up the cameras. But just a little backstory, I did have a catalyst case previously with my iPhone XS Max. We went on a family trip, had the case for maybe a month. We went into the river and then water got into it. Even though these phones are rated at IP68, it's still, water gets in, it's going to damage something. I know that Apple does claim that it's waterproof, but it's not. So that's why I recommend cases. But this is a great case so far. I mountain bike, so I'm not worried about this coming out of my pocket and damaging the phone. The case will get damaged, and that's what I'd rather get damaged. Though this case does cost over $100, it is at a premium. Person myself, if this had its original turn, for instead of having this where it used to have like a little turn button for the mute button, then this case would have been perfect. But because it doesn't have that, I do recommend this case if you're going to do water sports or a chance of getting water, and especially as a healthcare worker when you're cleaning your phone on a constant basis. I recommend this case over the Ghostek, but I would recommend the Ghostek. And this case is rated at least 10 meters for 1 hour, and it's rated at 6.6 drops. So it's a little bit shorter than the Ghostek, but realistically, are we going to be throwing our phones up in the air to smash, see if it's going to, you know, survive? Probably not. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will be putting up more videos in the future. I hope you guys have a great day.